anybody told the people of Idi-Orogbo town that Alfa Sulaiman was not a saint straight from heaven, they would have fought you with their bare hands. Alfa Sulaiman. He was the chief Imam of the biggest central mosque in town. When he held the microphone on Friday afternoons, his voice would shake the speakers. But before we dive in, please don't forget to click subscribe, follow, like, share, and tell me where you are watching from in the comment section and to see more interesting videos of mine. Thanks. Let's dive in. My brothers and sisters, he would shout, his face looking very serious. Shun the desires of the flesh. Fasting and prayer is the only key. A man who cannot control his eyes and his body is lower than a goat. When Alfa spoke, people cried. They respected him. They trusted him deeply. To the public, he was a mirror of discipline, spirituality, and righteousness. But my people, the heart of man is a very dark room. Behind the scenes, Alfa Sulaiman was living a completely different life. You see, Alfa was a man of the flesh. While he told his followers to dry their bodies with fasting, he was secretly eating behind closed doors. But food was not his only secret. Alfa had a terrible weakness for women. He was sleeping with several of his female followers. Even married women whose husbands were dedicated members of his mosque were not left out. And that was not all. Alfa Sulaiman was incredibly rich. He was the biggest farmer in the whole state. He had massive farms, acres of maize, yam, and cassava. But the funny thing, nobody ever saw any human being working on Alfa's farms. No tractors, no laborers. He would just plant, and during harvest, the barns would be full. People thought it was the blessing of God, but it was a dark secret. Alfa Sulaiman was using Alujonu, ghosts and spirits as his farm workers. To keep these ghosts working, he had a strong covenant with them. Every month, on the night of the new moon, he must bring a special sacrifice of a black cow and 7 white fowls to the center of the farm. If he failed, well, nobody breaks a covenant with the spirits and goes scot-free. Everything was going smoothly for the hypocrite. He was enjoying the respect of men, the warmth of other men's wives, and the wealth from the spirit world. Until one hot Tuesday afternoon, Alfa Sulaiman had told his congregation that he was traveling to another state for a 3-day prayer retreat. But because he forgot a special charm he used for his farm sacrifice, he quietly returned home unannounced. He opened the door to his big house. Everywhere was quiet. He walked toward his bedroom. As he got closer, he heard strange sounds. What is going on? He thought. He pushed the bedroom door open. Bam! Alfa's eyes almost jumped out of his head. Right there, on his own matrimonial bed, was his most trusted follower, Brother Jamil. The same Jamil who used to carry his bag and shout Allahu Akbar the loudest. And who was Jamil with? Alfa's own wife, Zainab. Yee! Alfa Sulaiman shouted, grabbing his head. Jamil, in my house, with my wife? The devil has ruined you. Jamil jumped up, shaking like a leaf. Zainab just sat up, tied her wrapper, and looked at her husband. She didn't even look scared. Alfa Sulaiman was burning with anger. He dragged Jamil outside and immediately sent for the elders of the mosque. He wanted to disgrace Jamil and divorce Zainab publicly. By evening, the elders had gathered in Alfa's compound. The tension was thick. Look at what this boy did to me, Alfa cried out, acting like a wounded saint. A man of God like me, my own wife and my loyal follower, I will curse them. But as the elders started shaking their heads, condemning Jamil and Zainab, Zainab stood up. She clapped her hands and started laughing. It was a dry, mocking laugh.
Are you people listening to this hypocrite? Zainab pointed straight at Alpha's face. Will you shut your dirty mouth, you shameless woman? Alpha barked. I will not shut up, Zainab shouted back. Sulaiman, you want to disgrace me? Let everybody be disgraced. You call yourself a man of God? Ask him. Ask him what he was doing with Iya Amina. Ask him what he does with Sikira, the wife of Babatunde. The compound went dead silent. Babatunde, who was sitting among the elders, stood up immediately. My wife? What are you saying, Zainab? Go and ask your wife, Zainab shouted. This Imam you all are worshipping sleeps with our female members in the secret office behind the mosque. The elders immediately sent for the women mentioned. Out of fear and the heavy tension, the women started confessing. My people, the things they exposed were terrible. Not only was Alpha sleeping with them, but it was discovered that he had recently impregnated 3 of his female followers, including Sikira. He had secretly given them money to abort it, but 2 of them refused and were hiding the pregnancy. The truth spread through Idi-Orogbo town like wildfire. Alfa Sulaiman? Impregnating his members? Sleeping with married women? The man who stood as a symbol of faith and discipline was exposed as a dirty hypocrite. His followers were confused, betrayed, and heartbroken. The youth of the town grew angry. They marched to his mosque and locked it up. They threw stones at his house. His image collapsed overnight. Everything he had built with charisma was destroyed by his own hidden actions. But the public disgrace was just the beginning of Alpha's problems. Because of the shouting, the shame, the protests, and the elders casting him out of the community, Alfa Sulaiman completely lost his mind. For 3 days, he was locking himself inside, crying and pacing up and down. In all this madness, he forgot something very important. He forgot the calendar. It was the night of the new moon. The exact night he was supposed to take the black cow and 7 white fowls to the ghost workers on his farm. By the time he remembered, it was exactly 1 a.m. A very cold breeze blew across his compound. The windows started banging by themselves. Bah, bah, bah. Alfa Sulaiman froze in his living room. The electricity suddenly went off. Then he heard the voices. They were not human voices. They sounded like dry leaves scraping against tarred road. It was the Alujonu. The ghost had left the farm and come to the town. Sulaiman, the voices hissed from outside the window. Where is our sweat? Where is our blood? You gave us work. Where is our food? Alfa Sulaiman started shaking violently. He fell to his knees. Please, please, my mind was not at rest. I had problems. Give me till tomorrow morning. We do not eat tomorrow, Sulaiman. We eat today. The doors burst open. A strange, thick smoke entered the house. Nobody in the neighborhood dared to come out, even though they heard the terrifying screams coming from Alpha's house. He screamed. His disgraced wife screamed. His children screamed. The ghost showed no mercy. A broken covenant in the spirit world cannot be repaired with apologies. By the next morning, when the brave men of the town finally broke into their house to check, what they saw made them cover their mouths. Alfa Sulaiman, his wife, and his entire household were dead. They lay on the floor, their eyes wide open in pure terror, but not a single drop of blood was on the ground. And out there at the edges of the town, Alpha's massive green farms had turned completely dry and black overnight, as if roasted by invisible fire. And that is the story, my friend. That is how a big leader lost absolutely everything. Not because the devil fought him, not because he had enemies, but because of his own lack of character. What you hide in the dark will always wait for you in the light. Please don't forget to click subscribe, follow, like, share, and comment to see more interesting videos of mine. Thanks for watching my video. See you in my next video.